guys, Kevin with Gone Rogue Games here with the May 2021's top 10 products that I think are good buys, part number 2. So we do this every month as a local game store owner, as well as a board game, card game, Magic the Gathering connoisseur. I like to talk about products that I personally think are good buys for the month. So you can go back from month to month. We've been doing this for about a year and look at the products. I think it's still relevant too. So I try to mix things up. I don't try to talk about products that I've talked before in this series. So each week or each month, I try to pick new things that you may not know about and give you their prices of what I can currently get them at. Now, these prices are relevant towards patrons. We only sell directly to patrons. If you are interested in becoming a patron, go to patreon.com/Rogue Deck Builder to sign up today. So part 1 is about Magic the Gathering products. If you're interested in Magic the Gathering sealed products, go over to my Rogue Market channel and I'll give a detailed overview on why I like the 5 products that I choose for Magic the Gathering. In this part number 2, I'm going to talk about accessories, like sleeves, like binders, and I usually pick a board game every month. So for this month, we're going to start off with a really good product made by Ultimate Guard, and this is the Ultimate Guard Katanas. So these are sleeves. These are the high-end sleeves from Ultimate Guard. They're comparable to the Eclipses from Ultra Pro, and they have one of the best shuffle fields in the market. So what I like about them, definitely the perks of this, is the shuffle feel. I don't think you can beat the shuffle feel of Katanas. They just slide in perfectly. The one problem I do have with Katanas is they are a little bit loose, oftentimes with double sleeving, and the sleeves tend not to be the most durable of sleeves. You can see that this already has like a little bit of a mark on this sleeve from, and this may just be the way that, you know, I put in card sleeves. They get a little bit of a, you know, as I push it in, it probably gets a little bit of a fingernail indentation. So most of the cards get the exact same indentation, so I guess they're not marked sleeves at that point when they all have kind of the same markings. But the sleeve quality is really good. It's got like a slick matte finish, and that adds to just an amazing shuffle feel. So these guys are just high quality. The one other, I guess, drawback to this is they are the most costly sleeve. So this and Ultra Pro Eclipses are going to be the highest cost sleeve. The patron price of these is $7. I think the MSRP for these suckers are like $12. And so my margins are at the greatest on these sleeves either. That's why I tend to like Dragon Shield and try to push people towards Dragon Shields. Is a lot of times my, as far as selling at my local game store at, you know, MSRP, I get a definitely better margin off of something like Dragon Shield than I do off of Katanas. But they do look beautiful. They have a great finish to them. They have a great shuffle feel. And if you're in for a market, many people don't like the Dragon Shield shuffle feel or just like how hardy the Dragon Shields are. I highly recommend you double sleeve with Dragon Shield, because one of the things with how tight the fit is on Dragon Shields is you can get a lot of grime that gets stuck in there. And you can always tell people that use Dragon Shields if they don't use double sleeving, because there are grime marks on your cards. And I have never had this problem with Katanas. I haven't used them to the, you know, highest extent, but I have used them enough to give a good overview or review of how they work. So another issue that some people do is that even though these are considered matte cards, they don't have like a front matte finish. Typically, one of the things they consider matte in the card sleeve genre is this kind of a frosted kind of look on the front, so it gets rid of this glare from the cards. But the glare isn't too bad on these. Like many other, like Ultra Pro, if you get those like Planeswalker sleeves and whatnot, they're going to have a very obnoxious glare that when you're, you know, putting it around the table, you'll get hitting the light just right and just blind you. So these ones don't have that too much. And again, these are just really good as far as the shuffle feel. They slide in and out. They're a little bit roomy for a sleeve. You can see there's quite a bit of lip there, but they do fit most perfect fits perfectly. They don't like, you don't have the problem of having to use like a side load perfect fit for these to fit. So Katanas are a good option if you're in the market for more high-end sleeves. So again, patron price for the Ultimate Guard Katanas are $7. Very, very popular sleeve in the Magic the Gathering community. So if you're looking for a more budget alternative for a tried, tested, and true sleeve, we do have some of these available. About a year ago, I made a move on buying out a distributor for these Dragon Shield Classics in the 60 counts, and I'm able to offer these at $2.50. So you basically save a buck and get 10 extra sleeves by going this route, because the distributor price for just 100 Classics is going to be $6. So for 2 of these, you can get these. You can get 120 sleeves for $5, or $2.50 a piece for $60, and then it's just a better bang for your buck if you're in a classic. I prefer matte. I didn't have the option to buy matte at this price. It was just some classics, and there was only a few colors I was able to get. One being ivory, one being yellow, one being petrol. This is a favorite of mine. My favorite being the night blue classic, and the mint is pretty good, and the magenta is a crowd favorite for sure. So I have these colors available for $2.50 a pack, $5 for 2 packs that will sleeve your commander deck. And the classic finish is classic. It's Dragon Shield Classic. They're gonna have that non-matte finish on the back. They're going to be kind of slick at first, but these are the most hardy of hardy sleeves, being the Dragon Shields. They're just, I've done plenty of reviews for Dragon Shields in the past, and they are basically the go-to brand. I think that all the, the larger review channels like Tolarian Community College, I believe they're the favorite sleeve there as well, and it's definitely deserving. This company is just the best of the best when it comes to sleeves. So this is a budget option for patrons for a tried, tested, and true classic sleeve in the Dragon Shield. Next up, we have another product from Dragon Shield. 2 more products from Dragon Shield. I'm really simping for the Dragon Shield this week. This is called a I believe it's called a Zipster Codex 180 because it can hold 180 cards in this. I've actually got this one overfilled. So this is a Zipster because it's not a portfolio, an album. I can't remember what's the difference between an album. I think an album is where you put sleeves or you put pages in it, and a portfolio is when it already has its pages in the binder. So this one's an album. I hope that's right. And this is the Codex 180, and it's got a nice just kind of fake leather finish here, very hardy stitching. It's got the zip on there from the binder, and I've got all of my fine art in this binder, and it can hold quite a bit of cards. It does have a small 3-ring binder, and that was one of the criticisms that some people had about this, but it does do a good job of holding your cards. So now you can see my fine art that is included in the binder. It's a very, this is good quality for a cheap binder, and this is patron price for this is $10. You can get this, and you can see it's just in kind of a 3-ring binder here, and pages, the Dragon Shield pages turn just absolutely wonderful. So this is my fine art collection of Magic the Gathering cards, just the finest of art. Here you can see, have a lot of different cards in here with different art on here of the best Magic the Gathering art ever printed, and this is my collection. So went all in on these beautiful pieces by, who's the artist? By James Ryman, of just the epic struggle between my favorite character, Garrick, and that evil witch, Liliana. So just this, perfect, hey, I'm upside down like crazy here. Perfect artwork, just beautiful art. So this codex just fills my entire collection of fine art, as you can see. And that brings us on to the next product. So the patron price of these codex binders are $10, which I think is a pretty good bargain for binders that have this quality. Like I said, the stitching's great. The very hard case to it. It's going to take a lot of effort to break it or to tear off this. Probably is just glued in, or with this binder, but it's holding really well, and I've been able to have this binder for quite a while, and it's not even showing any wear to my. Like I said, if you're going to be keeping fine art, the finest of fine art, just the most masterpiece of all masterpiece ever created, this is the binder to put it in. And it actually adhered pretty well to our branding, so we just have a little cry cut here that we're able to brand on it, and was able to get this fine art to hold my fine art. Did I say fine art enough? Anyway, that brings us on to the next product, which is the Dragon Shield. I don't know what they call these. I know they're called the 16 pockets. So it's just 2 rows by 4, and so you can hold your play sets. Now these weren't the most popular, and that's why I'm able to get them at a discount. So MSRP for these were $25. The distributor cost is around $17, I believe, for these, and I was able to pick these up, I think, for $10. So patron price for $10. For these, the rows, and a lot of these the companies, the sleeve companies, the accessory companies came out with what's called the Quadro. One of the issues with the Quadro is they are massive. Those pages are massive. They take up, you have to get like a laptop backpack at that point to hold your binder. And I don't like them. I actually prefer, if you're going to do play sets, that you do have them in these kind of side-fitting sleeves. Yes, you have to hold the binder like this when you're looking through it. But to me, like, I don't know why that's such a pet peeve for people. You have them all just displayed here, and it's just not a massive binder that's bigger than a laptop. You can just go through your play sets, you know, 2 at a time. It also has the back that you can go. And they're just really good quality sleeves. You can see that the stitching is good. I mean, it's Dragon Shield quality, and it just wasn't a very popular page because of people either liking the 3-row for the smaller binders, being the, either the side load 3-row or the top load 3-row, or they went with the quad row for the ultra huge, massive binders. I think that one's the 360 or the 720 or whatever that one holds. These ones just got kind of closed out, and I was able to snag these up for a cheap price. So if you're interested in just holding play sets, I really like these pages, and I'm not a stickler like some people of having to turn my binder sideways to actually look through it. I mean, it's not that big of an issue to do that. But to each their own. I actually prefer the setup of these pages. And last but not least is a board game that I was just introduced to. It's not the newest of board games. I think it came out in 2019. And this is Richard Garfield's Carnival of Monsters. So this is a really fun game. So far I'm thinking there must be, I'm hoping, a expansion coming, because they made a box that is just massive to hold, contents that definitely don't fit how much the box has here. But this is a drafting game. It takes like the entire element of Magic the Gathering draft and puts it into a board game where you're just focused on drafting cards that then work together. It's kind of funny what Richard Garfield did with this game, because he actually used white, blue, black, red, green, and made different monsters for each one of the colors, as well as kind of colorless in the form of purple. And so what you're doing is you're trying to figure out how to draft the right amount of cards to then be able to capture as many monsters as possible and score as many points. So the idea of the game is you start out with 2 lands. So one's like a caves and an enchanted forest is what you start out with. And each player will start out with 2 different lands. They're just kind of the basic lands. And then you are then going to be drafting cards. So it goes over 4 rounds. It goes left, then right, then left, then right. You get 8 cards to start with. And it's just like Magic the Gathering draft. So you'll have, various, say, these aren't shuffled that well because I just played a game. But let's just give it a quick shuffle to kind of see what like an opening hand would be. And you're going to be drafting these cards one at a time and either keeping them or playing them immediately onto your board. And so you have to have the lands, the amount of lands. You got to think it like mana cost here. So basically this is adding like 1 red and this is adding 1 green towards the monsters that you're going to capture. And then to play other lands, there will be caves that require that you already have a caves out, and they'll be called distant lands. So they're going to be like a cave that's worth 2, but you already have to have another cave out. And I know there's another cave that's worth 3, but you have to have 2 other caves before you can play it. And so if you draft a card and you're not able to play it, you can spend one of these coins, I believe you start with 4 coins, to put it in your keep pile, and you can play it later that round if you can then afford to play it, put it out. So anyway, a beginning hand might look like something like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that could be your opening hand. You have a Dreamlands that goes towards the purple is kind of neat because it's wild. You can use any color to be able to put out a monster, a purple monster, but a purple land can only be used towards a purple monster. So that's why it's worth 3. Right here we have a Basilisk that requires you have 1 cave, and it's got a danger symbol. And a danger symbol is important for the end of the round because you're going to be rolling some dice here, and if you don't get enough cages that are rolled on these dice, then you're going to have to pay 3 gold to hire a mercenary to help you capture this monster. And if you can't afford it, you have to take out these loans that give you the 3 coins to actually capture the monster, and the loans are worth -5 points at the end of the game. But there's some cool things. You can actually get some cards that make the loans actually only worth -3, or if you get 2 of them, they're only worth -1. If you end up getting 3 of them, I don't know if 3 of them exist in the deck, your loans could actually give you positive points at the end. So there's those little nuances in this game that you can go for like a loan strategy. There's a Great Worm that requires 2 caves. Here's an enchanted forest that requires you to have 2 other forests out to play it. Here is a mercenary. These go, you have to pay 2 coins to recruit them, but this one is going to allow you to use it as any land. So as you play it, you declare a land type, and it becomes any land. This Lara Oakley is also a land, so these were 2 redundant cards. Then we have this opening hand, we'll have maybe 2 Aries. So on my first turn, I'm like, well, I already had, what did I start with? We already started with a caves in a forest here. I already have a caves, and I know that, or a forest, and I know another one's coming out here with this enchanted forest. I already had a enchanted forest. So maybe I'll take this enchanted forest to add, and then I'd have 2 enchanted forests, and hopefully this one will wheel and come back to me, and then I will be able to play this enchanted forest. And then I'll have a total of 4 enchanted forests out, or 5 enchanted forests out, and maybe a later turn I could get a really big monster. That requires having that many forests out. So you gotta figure out throughout your turns whether you want to keep expanding your ability to capture big monsters or just go for like quick points. So say I had this caves already and the draft hand came to me and I haven't used my caves for the turn. So each draft round you basically cover it up if you've already played a monster, and then you can't use that caves towards something else. So basically this if I already had a caves, I go, well, this is a quick 5 points. 5 points is pretty good in the scope of things in the game. Maybe I have a mercenary or a cage I've purchased already to make sure that I can actually get this dude. And so I could just throw it on my caves, and at the end of the round I can add it to my menagerie. And at the end of the game I'd score 5 victory points for capturing this basilisk. So that's basically how the game plays. You got to figure out, hey, do I want these mercenaries that will help me able to manipulate the game, like capturing more things, being able to be used as wild lands, or do I want to start capturing monsters early? Typically, you just try to go for a mix of it and try to be as efficient as possible each turn of utilizing your lands while still building up for later turns to score big points. There will also be at the start of every turn, there'll be some incentive. So like if this one is pulled for a season, as my camera decides not to focus, this will say it pays you 2 coins for the first danger card you play, monster you play, and then if you capture the monster with the highest amount of danger symbols, then you get 3 victory points. You'd get this card for the end of the game. So that gives some incentive, and it gives some like for that round some kind of competition for that particular type. So again, this is like super magic light game that introduces people to drafting, and I just think it's a knock out of the park game. Really fun, really good draft game. A lot of times what the problem with drafting in board games is it's just bad. Like there's many games that have a drafting element that I think is just terrible. And I think this Richfield Garfield Carnival of Monsters reminds me of a game called Hadara with the drafting mechanism that works really well in the game and also has an engine building presence to it. And Hadara is one of my favorite games of all time, so I'll have to do a review of Hadara sometime. But not really blown away by this game. I think it's a great little light board game, and it's not hard to pick up. It's easy to read the rules. It's not intimidating for newer players, and it's a great way to introduce people to the drafting mechanic that is used in many board games and used in our beloved Magic the Gathering for the draft format. So I think Carnival of Monsters, I think, is either 22 or 23 for the patron price. We will have everything on the left-hand side for the actual prices for the game. You can see here the end score there. I gotta show my prowess here of crushing these noobs. Look at Noob Mom. You're only getting 71 points. What a scrub. Get wrecked, scrub. Get good, scrub. Anyway, there you have with the Richard Garfield's Carnival Monster Review. That's available at the Patreon price. Again, you can always reach out to me if you actually want to play MSRP for things and support the store. I'll gladly sell you things at MSRP price all day long. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and be looking forward to the June top 5 products. If you're looking for the top 5 Magic products, head over to the Rogue Market channel and give it a look. There's some good things that are available for this month. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Kevin with the Gone Rogue Games. Thanks for watching.